Few issues provide red meat to the Republican faithful like taxes. And with this season's crowded presidential field, coming up with a popular tax strategy could be a game changer. Tonight, correspondent Rich Edson looks at what we know so far about the candidates' plans.
Overhauling the tax code requires multi-billion-dollar decisions on a seemingly endless number of tax questions, the type of detail politicians usually omit from speeches and talking points. Analysts say this year is different.
We have probably never seen a presidential campaign in which we've had this many presidential candidates issuing very detailed tax reform plans at this stage of the campaign.
4 in particular, says the Conservative Tax Foundation: Donald Trump, Jeb Bush, and Senators Marco Rubio and Rand Paul. They all would cut individual tax rates from a high of nearly 40% in the current code. Trump exempts those earning less than $25,000 from federal taxes, and then hits income at 10, 20, and 25%. Bush's plan features 3 tax brackets, 10, 25, and 28%. Rubio's proposal offers even fewer tax brackets at 15 and 35%. Paul supports a flat tax at 14.5%. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has released a framework calling for 3 brackets, ranging from single digits to 28%. And for businesses, Republicans are also offering a tax cut.
Reducing the corporate tax rate and fully expensing capital investment will create a renaissance of investment in our own country.
At 35%, the United States has the highest top corporate tax rate in the modern world. Trump would drop that to 15%, Bush to 20%, Rubio to 25%. Paul would institute a 14.5% consumption-based tax. Christie joins Rubio in calling for a 25% rate. Cutting rates this deeply would create a dangerous fiscal imbalance. To avoid that, these tax plans also eliminate or curb the majority of tax deductions families and businesses claim, exposing more of their income to these new lower tax rates.
I believe that the economy will do so well that even though they won't be getting certain deductions, which aren't fair for them to be getting, that they'll end up doing better.
Trump cuts deductions for families and corporations and also hits businesses with a 10% tax on their foreign cash holdings. Bush and Rubio also tax foreign cash at lower rates. For families, Bush would eliminate the state and local income tax deductions and cap the value of others. Rubio ends deductions except those for mortgage interest and charitable donations. Paul and Christie propose the same. Even with these taxes on foreign cash and fewer deductions, these Republican plans would still bring in less money to the federal government than the current system. Trump denies his plan would add to the national debt. The Tax Foundation disagrees. Even factoring in the effects of economic growth, analysts there say Trump's plan would cost $10 trillion over 10 years. Bush's $1.6 trillion, Rubio about the same, and Paul less than $1 trillion.
It's a trade-off between what's good for government and what's good for taxpayers. And that's what a lot of the Republicans have decided. We'd rather go with taxpayers over government.
Democrats disagree and say these Republican plans are nothing more than schemes to cut taxes for the rich.
Well, that's a sure budget-busting giveaway to the super wealthy, and that's the kind of bad economics you're likely to hear from any of the candidates on the other side.
Clinton has released no comprehensive plan. She's proposed specific tax credits and endorsed President Obama's plan to subject all those earning at least $1 million a year to a minimum 30% tax rate. Clinton is also calling for a substantial increase in the taxes wealthier earners pay on short-term investments. Clinton's challenger, Senator Bernie Sanders, also promises to raise taxes on wealthier families and businesses. And while Republicans say they'd abolish the estate tax, Sanders says he'd keep it and raise it for those inheriting more than $3.5 million. And as Republicans call to cut federal spending, Democrats promise to use this additional tax money on education, research, and infrastructure. While most of these plans focus on maintaining the current tax system of taxing income and offering deductions, others propose a radically different approach.
The fair tax transforms the process by which we fund Social Security and Medicare, because the money paid at consumption is paid by everybody, including illegals, prostitutes, pimps, drug dealers, all the people that are freeloading off the system now.
Governor Mike Huckabee supports a national sales tax to replace the income tax. It offers lower-income households a monthly rebate check to cover the expense of higher prices on goods and services. Ben Carson and Senator Ted Cruz are advocating for flat tax systems. And the chances any of these plans become law in their entirety? None. Any process proposing to cut valuable tax deductions will meet resistance in Congress, though candidates are discussing the tax code. And tax reform advocates say if their issue becomes a White House priority, it may have enough momentum to finally scrap the current system in the next few years. Bret?
So you're saying there's a chance. Rich Edson, thank you.